Today, I'll explain the exact conditions under which you should leave a woman, end a relationship with her, withdraw from her, or stop paying her any attention because she bit the hand that feeds her. This is the point at which the woman no longer deserves it. She doesn't deserve your attention, validation, or your time. Do not misunderstand me, please. You are not automatically being disrespectful by doing this. You're not being a bad person for doing this. You are taking care of yourself and looking after your future, which you cannot sabotage because of a good-looking woman. You need to learn how to lose with women. What does it mean to lose with women? When you lose with women, you have to be a man who knows when to cut your losses, admit that things aren't working out, and move on because so many guys remain stagnant and persist in their efforts with the same woman. And I did this, especially when I was a better man. I would try to do things by sheer force or just desperately hoping against hope that the situation would resolve itself. Guys, when things aren't working out, you can try maybe 1 or 2 times at the most. Otherwise, you're only going to waste your time, energy, and resources. Today, we're going to delve into 3 topics, which are basically the 3 red flags that tell you that your relationship is at an end, and it may be time for you to end it for good. If you notice any of these warning signs, I'd advise ending the relationship immediately. Your life will be saved from the toxic turmoil that you will experience if you follow your feelings, because in the field, following your feelings gets you burned. This will If any of you are now dating a woman, I want you to ask her directly, what does it mean to you to be a wife? It's not just a title. You don't merely get to change your last name. What exactly does it mean to you? What attributes should a wife have according to you? If your woman can't give you an honest answer here, then she is a woman who views marriage as a formality, simply because of the time commitment she has made. That is not how marriage works. That is not how relationships work. The titles of husband and wife aren't just titles. They're roles that have to be earned for someone to be able to be a husband or a wife. The next presumption is that she should just be taken care of, with no real return for the guy. You'll even observe that her desires develop more rapidly the less she is cared for. She actually removes her intimacy, her affection, and her compassion for the man the more she is taken care of. But these women are going to do is they're going to say, well, if I was married, I would do that. But it's wrong. Because in the beginning, it was not like that. If you move this to the bottom, it's going to say all freedom with no repercussions. Why does this matter? If she acts as though she can do whatever she wants with complete freedom and without consequence, then it means there are no boundaries for her. If you create a boundary, you won't be stigmatized as insecure. In fact, you are trying to take the lead, which is a positive thing. This is vital for healthy male to female interactions. Number 2, double standards. When the double standards start to feel like they're taking over your day, it's time to let go. What are double standards? Simply, they are standards that she holds you accountable for, but not herself. If you're not supposed to do something, but it's totally okay for her to do exactly that in the exact same circumstances, that's a double standard. And you know what's even worse? When a woman doesn't even recognize that she's using a double standard against you and ends up totally ignoring it, or saying that it's not a double standard. So she doesn't talk about her previous relationships, right? I can tell you why. It's because those are backup leads in case things don't work out with you, or if you think everything with her is going great. But when things have been going great, it's become boring for her. She's not someone who really thought through the whole long-term relationship thing anyway. And now that the routine is monotonous and the intimacy is regular between you two, there's nothing exciting for her to do. So she starts thinking about her previous partners, which, by the way, according to her, is totally okay to do, but you can't interact with your previous partners. See, that's a real-life double standard right there. But as the friendship has developed, she has become more of these to the previous men who may have broken up their relationship. These are the guys who have made a lasting impression on her. She constantly yearns for these men. You'll notice that these backburner men or leads would cause havoc if it were the other way around and you were interacting with your previous partners. It would cause mayhem in your woman's mind and send her into a tailspin. She can communicate with Tim, John, and any of the 45 males on her Snapchat list, but you don't need to worry about any of them since this is something that she'll continue to do so. But if you end up losing interest in her, and you start telling her that it's not okay for her to flirt with multiple guys, then you're suddenly controlling her and acting like a dominating man. This is what double standards are. Watch out for these since they eventually represent a woman who believes in this so-called equality that actually favors her wishes and totally undermines yours. Now, if you see a woman who has double standards, you should move on. It doesn't matter how attractive she is, since she didn't necessarily have a long-term plan or strategy to make this a productive use of her time. All it demonstrates is that she was willing to give it up to another man and raise her notch count. Number 3. Decreased intent for intimacy. At the beginning of the relationship, there was a spark, there was excitement, there was intensity, passion, and desire between you and your partner. But eventually, the desire started to decrease to a point where there was no intimacy between you two, even if you tried it. This is the point where you need to leave. If you have tried to rekindle the lost intimacy between you and your partner, and it hasn't worked, believe me, it will never work. Also, the more docile a male partner gets over time, the less intimacy he gets from the woman. But the more he rocks the boat and adds the bad boy attitude and manner to his personality, the higher the emotional toxicity rises and the faster she wants intimacy. And frequently, this causes the brain of that man to receive contradictory or conflicting information. But if she uses it as a reward, the next diminished intimate intent won't result in something until he accepts this. Relationship red flags are cautionary indicators that you and your partner may have harmful patterns or behaviors. Often, particularly in new relationships, lust and love can cloud your judgment and make it challenging to spot warning signs. Aggression may be better recognized warning signs. Some relationship red flags, meanwhile, are simple to overlook. Narcissism, manipulation, and gaslighting are some toxic behaviors that can go unnoticed. However, these 3 red flags are telltale signs of a relationship that has turned into dust, and there is nothing to salvage. The best course of action for dealing with relationship red flags is to act swiftly, openly, and fairly. Open a direct line of communication with your partner, share your worries, and allow them to do the same. Thanks for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.